Hello and welcome to Beering in Mind Beer Reviews. From today, we're going to start a series of 6 beers from one brewery, and that is one of the most well-known breweries in Japan, among Japanese craft beer breweries. The name of the brewery is Kyuchi, but they're much better known as Hitachino Nest Beer, and they are quite big in Japan and especially outside of Japan. They export a lot. They export to 30 different countries, and for example, in the United States, they're quite well known. When I visit friends in the United States, people often will ask me, "Do you drink that owl beer? This owl beer?" And I immediately know they mean Hitachino Nest from Kyuchi. Kyuchi Brewery has been around since 1823 as a sake brewery. They got into beer, as many people did, in the mid-90s, and they started in 1996. They make a variety of things, not just beer. They also produce wine, liqueurs, shochu, and sake, and a variety of spirits as well. Half of the beer production of this brewery goes to the United States. So, as I said, they export to 30 different countries. One interesting aspect of this brewery is that they have a BOP, a brew on premises operation, which is popular in certain areas of the world, but not so much in Japan. I think perhaps for some sort of tax regulations, perhaps. But Kyuchi does have or Hitachino Nest does have a brew on premises operation, where you can go in and they help you choose the ingredients based on, some questions. They ask about what kind of beer do you like, and they'll help you choose the ingredients, and then you make the beer there, and you come back later to bottle the beer, and I think they help you make labels and that sort of thing. So it's kind of interesting. Their beer production was quite successful, and in 2008 they established a new brewery simply for beer. And out in that area where that brewery is, they grow hops as well. Now, by the way, Kyuchi is located in Ibaraki Prefecture, up to the north of Tokyo. They have a regular lineup of around 15 beers. Some of their more famous ones are their Japanese classic ales, which they produce in a variety of different forms, and these are often aged in cedar casks, especially casks that have been used for making sake. And another point about them is that they have been appointed the contract brewer for Brooklyn Lager in Japan since 2009. So apparently the director of Brooklyn Brewery, Garrett Oliver, comes over periodically to check on how the beer is being made here in Japan. And they have established a brewery in Korea as well. So I think, step by step they have realized some very large plans, and they seem to be doing quite well. So the first beer we're going to look at today, well, we will look at that in a second, but in any case, if you know about Japanese craft beer and you're out from outside of Japan, you probably have heard of Kyuchi Brewery, and we are going to look at 6 different beers from them. And now, shall we take a look at beer number 5 from Hitachino Nest? And this is kind of an unusual one, and it's been around for a while. It's called Hitachino Nest DAiDAi Ale, and DAiDAi Ale and IPA. And this is an IPA that is flavored with DAiDAi, which is a kind of small tangerine, like citrus fruit. And on RateBeer, this one has 249 ratings, an average score of 3.32, and percentile score of 53 for all beers on RateBeer, and 30 for its style, which is flavored IPA. Not terribly high there. On Untappd, it has 28,229 unique ratings. The average score is 3.54, so somewhat higher than RateBeer scores, which is typical. Untappd scores tend to be higher. This one is 6.2% IPA, and it has 17 IBU, so international bittering units are not terribly high for its for the style, certainly. The mikan, or the tangerine, in Japanese it's called mikan. It's a special kind of mikan called fukure mikan, and on the bottle it said it's brewed with Japanese wild bred mandarin orange, fukure mikan, and aroma hops with hints of orange. A great amount of multi-umami taste complements well with the fruity citrus flavor, whatever that means. The hops are, there's an unusual hop here, one I've never heard of before. It sounds French, Tardif de Bougon, and Chinook also, and Hallertauer, but again, only 17 IBUs. It's not a terribly bitter beer. Okay, so let's give this one a try and see how it is. I have had this before, but it's been a long, long time, so I don't really remember much about it. So Hitachino Nest exports so much of their beer. They are available in Japan, but these days people I know don't tend to drink them so much. So this is the case in many places. I think the very successful craft brewer, or the one that pushes its beer outside of its local area a lot, somehow tends to be ignored by locals. In Oregon, for example, Rogue Beer, which of course is a pioneer in craft beer. Beer geeks in Portland don't tend to drink Rogue a whole lot. They do sell a lot, of course, but not to people in the Portland beer geek community. Okay, in any case, let's take a look at this. This is completely clear. It is a very dark, or medium dark, sort of orangish brown color. I can see right through it. And turn the light around on it. See what we get here. Carbonation, very, very fine, almost impossible to see, but there is very fine carbonation flowing up there, about a half a finger of white head. Okay, so the nose is very, very fruity, very malty. There are certainly some citrus notes, kind of dark sort of citrus, not bright like orange juice at all. Some kind of citrus caramel mix. In mid-palate, the carbonation kind of pushes it into something a little bit darker than a bright, light, little spritzy citrus bit. It does go to a kind of darker fruitiness in mid-palate. Some mild alcohol warmth for sure. Finish is sweet. It does finish with a strong fruity sort of sweetness. The actual citrus fruit, the Fukure Mikan, is present, but almost, I would say, just a whisper. It does blend well with the caramel sort of maltiness, though. So it's an interesting, unusual beer. You won't find beers that use the same fruit, I think, easily at all. So you might want to give this one a try if you happen to see it. It's called Hitachino Nest DAiDai Ale IPA, 6.2%, 17 IBUs. So give it a go and see what you think, okay? Leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot more Japanese craft beers, and I have one more Hitachino Nest that we will look at, and it is kind of a special one. I hope you'll tune in for that. Take care. Bye-bye.